Alright, hey guys, and we are back with even more dev replies that have to do kind of with the current situation and also what we're going to get in 1.5.7. This will pretty much be just this thread over here, the snowballing thread that just keeps on giving. We have about 4 replies. They're pretty beefy. We got this one right here, this one's a little bit smaller, but then we got this big one right here as well. I see a lot of 1.5.7s mentioned, so very excited to see what the devs have to say. I'm going to link this down below for you guys to check out like always, but we're going to read along. I'm going to give my opinions, and we're going to go from there. Alright, so let's do it. So the dev starts off with saying, here are all test results we have since 1.5.4. So this is the snowballing score. This score is pretty much, it calculates, it's a big like calculation. I wish he would kind of like put the formula for it over here. I don't remember exactly where it was at previously, but pretty much what you want is a number that's very, very low. You gain points if kingdoms after 20 years they what's called lose all their settlements, or if one gets too powerful, that snowball score will go up. And it just pretty much shows how snowballing works in the game. If it stays at a low number, which around here is about 61%, then that's pretty good. But all this is testing is how kingdoms grow their settlements. By growing, I mean like take settlements from others, how many kingdoms survive, and stuff of that nature, and just overall how long do kingdoms last without player interaction. So we got 1.5.4 test. The score was about 117, with a lot of kingdoms pretty much after 20 years just not having anything. And then the top 2 usually have like 80% of the land, right? Then 1.5.5, it was kind of very close, very similar, a little bit less, but at the same time, again, the top 2, top 3 have like 80 to 90% of the map after 20 years. Now, in 1.5.6, as we can see right here, it's gone down a lot. They still have kind of like the top people, but also there's a lot less people with zeros. You know, there's a lot less people with zeros and ones like that is up here, right? And a lot more are staying alive. The top 2 still control a pretty big chunk, but it's not as bad as it was before. So it's good to see. We're not fully done with it. There has been some more problems introduced as we've gone over in previous videos, but we're getting there, right? Alrighty, so according to these results, we have 117 snowball score at 1.5.4, 104 at 1.5.5, and 61 at 1.5.6. And I think 1.5.7 will be around 45 with new developments mentioned in the last post. Alrighty, now he's going to go over the developments. There it is. So this is kind of stuff we're going to get in 1.5.7. Very exciting. Alright. So number 1, reducing cavalry speed bonus to 40% from 60%. I did not get approved for this yet because I fear it will be rejected, but I will apply it because it seems this is a must. I do not want to risk this. Oh man said he's still going to apply it even without the rejection. Okay, we'll see. Because I'm pretty sure he said he wanted either 40 or 50%. But okay. So it's not completely, well, I guess he's going to apply it anyways. Interesting. We'll see how that goes. So it's not confirmed 100% yet. 2, there will be a higher Horseman troop ratio in 7 non-Khuzait factions. Parties will tend to upgrade their troops, not 50-50% randomly. If they have 2 options, they will upgrade according to troop tier to reach Horseman troops more if the cavalry ratio is low. Interesting. So if an army, well, let's say party, right? If a lord's party has a very low amount of horses, then whenever they get the choice between, let's say, a horse upgrade and one that does, and a footman upgrade, right? Or an archer upgrade, or a, you know what I mean? Just like, if there's a horse involved, they're going to pick it more just so their numbers can go back up. Very interesting, okay. And for people wondering, this is going to be, the Khuzaits are still going to be, they're still going to have the most in terms, I can't talk, I'm sorry. I really cannot talk, Jesus Christ. It's been a long day, you know? Let me restart. And I don't want to hear anything about the comments about that, all right? It is what it is. I'm not editing out this 10-second thing, you know? But let's reset real quick. Alrighty. So, what's it called? Khuzaits will still have, in terms of like what do you call it? Cavalry party ratio. They will still have the highest one, I think, at about 25%. And then the other factions will kind of aim towards, I think he said what, like about 15%, 12 to 15%. So Khuzait are still going to be the horse guys, just not by as much as they were before. Alrighty, number 3. Rebel clans will join weaker factions and same culture ones more instead of joining powerful kingdoms if they succeed surviving first 30 days. Yes, that was a problem. So obviously this is exactly how the devs wanted it to be, but unfortunately for some reason that's not how it happens in 1.5.6. They just go to the strongest guys usually, not the ones that are the same culture and stuff like that. So that will be implemented as it was supposed to in 1.5.7, which is good to hear. 4. Reducing effects of OP2 perks giving too much passive XP and being a side effect in poverty. Also needed XP for Tier 3, Tier 4, and Tier 5 are a bit increased, so it'll be a bit hard to reach high tiers with only passive XP. Okay, so we did go over this, yesterday, right? And so there's 2 perks that instead of actually giving like 1, 2, or 3 XP, one gives like plus 15 and one gives plus 30. This is a bug. It won't be like that forever, so it might be easy to upgrade your troops now, but it's gonna get a lot harder once this patch goes through. And I think it does make sense for one reason, obviously, as he stated, poverty. What's called a lot of clans and lords, they couldn't handle the wage costs because all their troops were very high level, very quick. And I think it makes sense for Tier 3, Tier 4, and Tier 5, their needed XP to be increased as well. I think all this makes sense. I think it's very easy to level up troops, so I get it. Number 5, 30% longer preliminary phase at sieges. I'm really messing up my words today. At sieges. So now, obviously, that bar whenever you set up a siege, that's going to be 30% longer now. I think it makes sense. It lets you actually get back to your castle to defend it, or castle or settlement, and same for the AI. So, good change. 6, hearth values of Khuzait villages will be a bit reduced. The hearth of a village, he says heart here, but I think it's hearth, right? There's an H at the end. That value dictates how much prosperity your town has, how successful your villagers are, and overall how successful your economy is. And Khuzait's had like a kind of big boost because of their policies and stuff. So reducing this will kind of balance stuff out a little bit. 7, Khuzait default policy grazing. See, here it is. Khuzait default policy grazing rights will be plus 0.5 loyalty and minus 0.25 hearth of villages, right? Instead of plus 1 loyalty, plus 1 militia. So another policy bites the dust. This was a good policy, but now RIP. It makes sense, but at the same time, RIP. Alrighty. 8, weak kingdoms will try to face with less enemies and pay more tribute if needed. Aggressiveness of kingdoms which lost lots of their territories will be reduced. This is partly 1.5.1 feature, but its effect will be a bit increased. Okay, so kingdoms will play a little bit less aggressive when they lost a lot of territory, be more defensive, and they're going to pay more if they really need to not be in war and stuff like that for peace. So, cool. And then we got bonus. Average war times will be 30 to 40% longer. Okay, this is something bad for Snowball, by the way, because factions react slower to new wars, but 1.5.6 war durations were so short, and this was affecting gameplay badly. So even it is bad for Snowball, this increases its need to be done, but we will have 8 positive and 1 negative effect for Snowball at 1.5.7. Interesting. Pretty much what he's saying here is you don't want too long of wars, but at the same time you don't want too short of wars. You have to find that like nice point in the middle, and that just is what it is. It probably is risky. It might have some bad stuff occur like he states here, but at the same time he needs to do it because very short wars aren't good as well. But yeah, all sounds good. After we have 45 average Snowball score, this problem will be not a major issue anymore, and I will start examining party AI overhaul and commands. Ooh, commands mod. First, to see how they cope with party micromanagement problems with making most players happy, and we will implement some solutions for this. Okay. He says mod. Does that mean he'll like look? So is this? Oh, okay. So he says he's gonna examine this mod. I'm guessing it's a popular mod, right? And see how he can implement some solutions from that mod. There it is. Very good. Hopefully the mod creator gets some credit as well if any of his stuff is used. And there it is. The game's working with modders. The game's working with the community. Hey, they always say they're not, but there's always, you know. Sorry, take a sip of tea, like actual tea. I'm drinking tea, but what's it called? Uh, Good to see. Good to see. Alrighty, still here. We will post our results and new patches, of course, and discuss how things are going. However, after 1.5.7, if we can reach 45 average snowball score, it will be good enough to focus on other problems more because I think snowball will not be a major problem anymore if some new features do not trigger it again in the future. Even this happens, we will catch it because we will continue calculating snowball score after each patch. Very cool. And this is okay. So he pretty much tells you how to. Nice, nice. Exactly what I wanted to for him to repeat again, and he did down here. I like that. All right, let's read this out. So additional info for newcomers: how to calculate snowball score. We fast forward game to year 1104. That's 20 years from the start. We count castles and towns for each faction. Rebels are not counted. Each town is counted as 2, and castles are counted as 1. So we find a value for each faction. For each faction, if the fief score is out of the 20 to 35 range, we add its difference from this range. Okay. So if it was like, let's say 5, we add the difference from its range. So 20 minus 5 would probably be what's it called? What, 15, right? Total value is snowball score. Okay, so you add all those guys up, all those differences up. That will be the snowball score. Less is good, of course. Yep. And there wasn't there. Well, I guess okay. I get where the minus 20 comes in, or the plus 20 comes in, is because if the factions have 0, then you will obviously add plus 20 to the snowball score. Okay, so it's not as actually as crazy as I was thinking in my head. I guess I was remembering something else, but yeah, there it is. Alright, he says thank you for all the tests and all that. Cool. Alrighty, now we have a player asking a couple of questions and some responses. Alright, so first question. 45 is good, or he's talking about the snowball score. Are you going to try to lower that more? I don't want a fully balanced game, to be honest. He just stated, before he replied, he just said that once it does reach 45, they're not going to really focus as much on it. They're going to focus on other stuff because that's pretty good value to be at. But let's see what he says. Yes, 45 will be enough in 1.5.6. Do you feel Snowball is a major game-breaking problem still? I don't feel it is. 1.5.7 will be better than this, so no need to spend more effort to make a fully balanced game. This can be a must for other games, but it's not for the Mountain Blade series. Also, we need to implement other features too, so it'll be enough for this problem. I think having a full balance is not that good for Bannerlord 2. Of course, Khuzait will still be powerful, but after 1.5.7, this problem can only be solved by giving them some negative cultural bonuses. True. Alrighty. Yeah, I agree with this. In terms of it still being a problem, it really isn't. I remember my first playthrough, like, ever, right? And the problem was, like, I felt like I was going fast in terms of how fast I was getting everything, like, set up to start my own kingdom. But the time that I started, Khuzait's already past half the map. Then I started another playthrough, kind of like halfway through early access development, and it wasn't. It did slow down a bit, but Khuzait's were still like taking over the map very aggressively. You know, the Sturgeons were dying very easily. You had all those memes and stuff. It just was what it was. But in 1.5.6, the current playthrough I'm doing, it's on YouTube right now. We have a couple hours, and everybody still has all their land. You know what I mean? Which is, you know, it's not 20 years exactly, but usually you would see a lot of people push back and stuff like that. But it's not that bad. So, it's not that big of a problem. All right. Then we have... Okay, then the player asks about, obviously, the reduction from 60% to 40%. Okay, and he pretty much says to elaborate more what he meant by that answer. And the dev responds, "Yes, I did not propose it, and will change bonus to 40% from 60%, because sometimes some Must things can be rejected without a proper reason. I do not want to take this risk. This is a must, and we all I cannot read. Jesus Christ. This is a must, and we all here see this. Okay. It's just I'm trying to like because obviously he doesn't have the best thing. There's no problem with that. Trust me. I'm from a different country as well. But it's just sometimes when I read it, it's kind of like I'm trying to decipher in my head as I'm reading it, and this and this and that. So I don't want to hear anybody talking about, oh, you can't read, bro. This. Don't start with me. Don't start with me. But all right. So he said he's gonna put it out there because there needs to. It's a pretty much a must. Okay, makes sense. And then we have. Then he talks about obviously the rebel clans joining the same culture as they're supposed to. And by the way, I noticed my 1.5.5 tests are so low because I sent you the total fiefs they own. Didn't separate castles and cities. I'll open those saves and calculate. Okay. About your 1.5.5, so this is Dev responding to that. About your 1.5.5 tests, yes, this will be good and I will correct them. Yes, your results seem different from the other two, so 1.5.5 average snowball will be around 115.2. There it is. So, some minor discrepancies, but it's not a really big problem. And then we have a guy stating that my test 1 snowball score is 117 and the second test is 109. Okay, that responds, okay, these are 1.5.5 tests, isn't it? Can you PM? Okay. So he's just talking about more scores that he can add. All right. And then we have, is it down here? It is down here. Okay, so it's all just on one page. I have all these tabs open. Alrighty, this is going to be the last thing that we read for this video, but we have more that I'll probably check out tomorrow. Alrighty, so Dev says, it would be accepted 90% even if I open... what is he responding to? I'm trying to see. Oh, he's responding to, I'm pretty sure another person asked about the 40%, or the 20% decrease from 60% to 40% for the cavalry bonus. Alrighty. So Dev says, it would be accepted 90% even if I open it to discussion. I just did not want to risk it by opening discussion. Problem is sometimes it can be hard to tell what we are all seeing in the data and gameplay because they usually do not read what we discuss here in 28 pages or look at tables we prepared or watch streams enough to see where players suffer, at least for single player or at least for this snowballing topic. Deciders can be conservative while changing these numbers because of having fear to make things worse. However, if there is a problem, we have to change numbers. Okay, so what he's pretty much saying is he's just going to put it in there. He's not going to really start a big discussion about it because this is a must thing to have. And he states that, the deciders, the people who kind of say yes or no to the big changes, they don't want to do anything I guess the term would be radical or a big change because it might ruin the experience. They kind of want to, as he states, be conservative with the changes, which pretty much means don't do anything major. Just keep it kind of the same. So it is what it is. Some people like that, some people don't. That's just it's one of those. Anyway, this bonus will be reduced to 40% from 60%, and we are sure its effect will be positive in gameplay and balance of world. We will see it when 1.5.7 comes out. If it is not, we can easily revert it. It's just one number. Let's just stop discussing it here for the sake of the game and me and move on to other topics. True. Alrighty, hold on. Another sip of my tea. By the way, drink some tea, guys. You know what I'm saying? It's good for you. Oh God, it's good for you. Don't put sugar in it though. You gotta put that honey in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Let's get back to the topic. All right. Okay. By the way, this is a speed bonus. I talked about not auto calculation bonus. Okay. Oh, so he thought it was the auto calculation bonus, but no, it's just the speed bonus. Speed bonus of cavalry is more important than everything currently. Even auto calculation bonus, which is the one if you choose to just play out the battle without you actually sending your troops in and not yourself. Examine the table I shared above. At 1.5.5, 20% cavalry bonus removed from siege auto calculations, but nearly nothing changed at the snowballing score. This person's 2 test results will be changed at the table. He said he counted towns and castles as one. Then Snowballing's score of 1.5.5 will nearly be the same as 1.5.4, which is about 117. Okay, so not much change at all. Speed bonus is more important because X-Men... Hold on. Speed bonus is more important because X of men, Khuzait party can catch X-Men other... Or Y, you should put Y here. Y men other faction if they want and can't, and they can run away if they want. What he's saying right here is the speed bonus made Khuzait's overpowered because obviously bigger parties can catch smaller parties for the Khuzait, and the bigger parties, no, the smaller parties have, or even like all parties in general, have a much easier time escaping fights that they do not want to take. They catch weaker parties and they run away from strong... Exactly, right here. Because of the 60% cavalry speed bonus, because Khuzaits have 2 to 3 times more cavalry ratio in their parties compared to the other faction parties. Other possible solution is making all factions have similar cavalry ratio, but this kills variety in game, and hard to do while faction troop trees have so many cavalry ratios. True. You still want to have a dynamic faction like the Khuzaits. Alrighty, this 40% in 1.5.7 and 60% in 1.5.6 makes Khuzai's also richer. Okay, hold on. What is he trying to say here? So what he's trying to say is in 1.5.6 that makes Khuzai's richer because they could not be plundered and looted easily. True. And Khuzait parties to save themselves and catch and loot. Yeah, so pretty much, speed is very important. That's that's one of those like... you know how like where can I take this for example, right? Let's say you play League of Legends. A lot of people in my community do play League of Legends as well. I play a little bit. I rage a little bit too much. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But what I'm trying to say is there's certain stuff in League which, obviously there's important things to have, right? You got your damage or your magic damage, right? MP, whatever it's called, right? And those are like the two main ones. But then also, you have to focus on, like, the smaller things. Like, right? Like, let's say, if you're playing someone who kind of... How can I explain it? Let's say you're playing a Singed, right? Which is a guy who needs to get up and close to somebody and then flip them towards your team. He kind of, like, flipped them over your back. And he flips it towards your team, and they can get an easy kill, right? That person needs a lot of speed. You know what I mean? This is a very bad analogy. What I'm trying to say is... There's a lot of stuff people focus on. Let's say for this game, you focus on how rich you can get. You focus on how strong your army is. But like something like speed, while it might be overlooked, is huge. Okay, that is way better. That's way better. I feel like speed as a factor is very huge in so many different games. It saves you a lot of time and you can do stuff a lot faster, right? For people on my channel who like to watch Age of Empires or any RTS, right? How fast you're able to... I'm sorry, I bumped my mic. But how fast you're able to kind of, do things. If you're faster than your enemy, let's say you're doing a 1v1, you're always going to win. It's like your rate per minute or whatever. This is a terrible analogy. What I'm trying to say is speed is underrated, but it makes a huge effect. And that's what the dev is saying here, is it makes a huge effect for the Khuzaits, and it's one of the huge reasons why they're so powerful is because they're faster than everybody. They could do stuff faster. In 20 years, they accomplish stuff that other factions will accomplish in 25, maybe 30 years, They're way ahead, and that gives them a huge advantage, right? So here's the chain. Like he says right here, higher speed equals richer lords, equals bigger garrisons, equals getting more tribute, becoming more richer. Boom. That speed is underrated. Alright, so even this number is reduced to 40%. This is the dev speaking. This problem will continue, but things will be much better. Now at least X-Men, Khuzait party speed will be nearly the same as X and Y, so as the other factions. Y will be about 10 to 20 if bonus is 40%. It is about 20 to 30 at 60%. Higher bonus is worse. It's a minor change but will have positive effects. Alright, so pretty much what he's saying is... reducing it to 40% will make the Khuzaits, at least you can catch them a little bit better now. Obviously, they're still going to have a little bit of a bonus, but it won't be by such a high margin where it just gets out of control. I agree with it. I think that's it's a good idea. And we'll see exactly what happens when it obviously comes out. But that's going to do it for me. kind of long video, but you know, I think there's some good topics here. We have a lot more posts. He's been going crazy. Mexico has been going crazy the past couple of days. I have a lot more videos to make, and I'm very excited to make them. But for now, I will sign off, and you know what it is. But ask me any questions, any concerns, and like always, stay safe.